Sharingan. The Sharingan is a unique dojutsu Kekkei Genkai of the Uchiha clan, one not automatically granted by birth. Although it is a hereditary ability, the Sharingan can only be awakened when the wielder undergoes intense emotional trauma, especially the pain of loss. The Uchiha are known for their deep capacity to love, and that very love is what unlocks this power in the most tragic moments. For Sasuke Uchiha, his first awakening of the one tomoe Sharingan came under devastating circumstances, returning home to find his entire clan slaughtered, including his own parents. Even worse, the one behind the massacre was none other than his beloved older brother Itachi. The overwhelming sense of loss and psychological shock triggered a neural reaction, causing Sasuke's brain to produce a unique chakra flow that awakened his Sharingan. Sasuke unlocked it at just 7 years old, a record that even surpassed Itachi's Divin. However, being so young and unable to fully control his new eyes, Sasuke could only use the one tomoe Sharingan briefly during its first awakening. As a result, it's difficult to gauge the true power it held at the time. Later, during his first mission outside the village with Team 7, Sasuke faced two formidable enemies, Zabuza Momochi, one of the 7 ninja swordsmen of the mist, and Haku, who possessed the Kekkei Genkai crystal ice mirrors, with attack speed nearly impossible to follow. Despite his training, Sasuke struggled in the battle. Naruto was pushed into danger and rendered unconscious. In that tense moment, Sasuke awakened his Sharingan in real combat for the first time. The surge of power caused his right eye to evolve to 2 tomoe, while the left eye remained at 1 tomoe. Though still incomplete, this form drastically improved Sasuke's visual perception. He could now clearly track Haku's high-speed movements and even spot diversionary attacks. Realizing the threat, Sasuke leapt forward to block incoming Senbon, shielding the unconscious Naruto. This marked not only the first real combat use of Sasuke's Sharingan, but also a powerful act of teamwork and loyalty. Soon after, in a sparring match against Rock Lee, Sasuke finally evolved his Sharingan to 2 tomoe in both eyes. His goal was to test the true limits of his dojutsu. However, the moment the fight began, Lee's overwhelming speed and taijutsu skills left Sasuke completely outmatched. Even though he could see each of Lee's moves, he wasn't fast enough to counter them. This harsh realization taught Sasuke a painful truth. Being able to see an attack doesn't mean you can stop it. Yet, that failure taught him how to better utilize the Sharingan. In the next round of the Chunin exams, when he faced Orochimaru, Sasuke's 2 tomoe Sharingan performed at its peak. Thanks to his heightened perception and predictive abilities, he could evade, counter, and maintain control throughout the battle. Even outside of combat, Sasuke put his copying ability to practical use. During the written test, he used the Sharingan to observe another candidate's hand as they wrote, then duplicated the answers perfectly, a stealthy form of cheating only the Sharingan could make possible. After many intense battles, Sasuke's Sharingan finally evolved into the 3 tomoe form, the most complete version of the base Sharingan. This final evolution occurred during his fight with Naruto at the Valley of the End. Faced with the overwhelming power of Naruto's Ninetales chakra, Sasuke's 2 tomoe Sharingan couldn't keep up with the sheer speed and force. But under that immense pressure, his eyes reached their peak. The 3 tomoe Sharingan was awakened. With 3 tomoe, Sasuke could not only see the fastest movements but also predict the opponent's next action. His reaction time became incredibly sharp even when surrounded by multiple shadow clones. Every punch, every jutsu he could track and respond with total control. The combination of 3 tomoe Sharingan and Sasuke's chakra control allowed him to deliver powerful strikes with minimal chakra usage. Once mastered, Sasuke used the Sharingan fluidly in all combat scenarios. One of the clearest demonstrations came after he left the village. In his first appearance, just a single glance from Sasuke threw Sai, a highly trained shinobi, into a genjutsu, leaving him paralyzed with fear and collapsing to the ground. The 3 tomoe Sharingan also allowed Sasuke to see the Ninetales inside Naruto and even communicate with it directly. This signaled a deep resonance between the chakra of the Sharingan and that of the Ninetales, proof of the high-level control the Sharingan offers. When Orochimaru attempted to perform the living corpse reincarnation ritual to take over Sasuke's body, Sasuke used the Sharingan to completely disrupt the process. Not stopping there, he cast a genjutsu on Kabuto, forcing him to relive the scene of Orochimaru's defeat, inducing such terror that Kabuto stood frozen, unable to fight back. Even Manda, the notoriously unruly summoning serpent of Orochimaru, was subdued by Sasuke's Sharingan genjutsu. Using this advantage, Sasuke escaped Deidara's massive explosion, showcasing his brutal precision and extreme control over the 3 tomoe Sharingan. Cursed Seal of Heaven, Level 1. If the Sharingan was the gateway to Sasuke's potential, then the Cursed Seal of Heaven was the key that led straight into the darkness within him. The Level 1 Cursed Seal of Heaven is a forbidden jutsu created by Orochimaru, developed through senjutsu and the bodily enzymes of Jugo, a person capable of absorbing natural energy. Once implanted into a host, this mark doesn't just carry a fragment of Orochimaru's will, it embeds his twisted power directly into the recipient's flesh. During the Chunin exams, after witnessing the potential of Sasuke's Sharingan, Orochimaru couldn't restrain his greed. He bit into Sasuke's neck, leaving behind a cursed seal, 3 tomoe spiraling in a circle, symbolizing both power and corruption. From the moment it was first activated, the seal transformed Sasuke into a true monster. His strength and speed surged to terrifying levels. In a flash, he shattered both of Zaku's arms as if they were nothing but dry twigs. That wasn't the fighting style of an ordinary genin, it was raw, uncontrolled brutality erupting from a cursed source. But power always comes with a price. As the seal spread across his body, it left black, flame-like markings crawling across his skin like they were consuming him from within. Every time his rage and hatred surged, the curse mark grew stronger, but in return, Sasuke's reason began to fade. He could no longer clearly distinguish friend from foe. Only one thing remained in control: absolute power. Even his teammates and enemies alike were terrified by the murderous aura exploding from his body. Orochimaru called it a gift, but in truth, it was a pact with the devil. From those very first moments, something began to grow inside Sasuke, a bottomless hunger for power. Cursed Seal of Heaven, Level 2. If Curse Mark Level 1 was the beginning of darkness, then Level 2 was the moment Sasuke allowed himself to be completely consumed by it. This state wasn't just another power-up. It was a full physical transformation inside and out. To reach this level, Sasuke had to take the Mind Awakening pill created by Orochimaru himself. The pill sent him into a death-like trance, shutting his body down almost completely so it could adapt to the massive dark chakra inside the cursed seal. Only after surviving that near-death state could Sasuke activate Curse Mark Level 2. Upon awakening, Sasuke's appearance changed drastically. His skin turned pale gray like ashes. A cross-shaped marking appeared on the bridge of his nose. His sclera turned black, lips turned purple, and his long hair darkened to deep violet, flowing wildly behind him. His fingers grew sharp claws, and 2 large wings sprouted from his back, webbed like a bat's, lined with razor-sharp edges. The form looked monstrous, even grotesque, but it allowed Sasuke to fly and shield himself from enemy attacks. Without this ability, Sasuke might not have survived the destructive attacks from Deidara or Naruto in his one-tail form. But those wings could do more than just fly. They could morph into snake-like appendages, binding enemies, blocking attacks, or striking from unexpected angles. In this second form, Sasuke's power was multiplied several times over. Speed, strength, reflexes all surged far beyond his previous limits. Even using the same jutsu, his output was vastly stronger in this state. When Sasuke unleashed his Black Chidori, both the speed and impact surpassed Naruto's Vermilion Rasengan. With a single piercing strike, Sasuke forced even a transformed Naruto to hesitate. Still, this form remains divisive among fans because, let's be honest, it looked ugly. Twisted, mutated, nearly inhuman. But maybe that was the point. He no longer fought like a human, but like a creature reborn from darkness. Partial Curse Mark Transformation. Only those who had mastered the Cursed Seal could unlock its partial transformation, form a state that gave power without losing full control. For someone like Sasuke, a natural prodigy, this wasn't too difficult. After training with Orochimaru, Sasuke learned how to awaken the partial transformation at will. The first time he used it was in front of Jugo, the very source of the cursed seal. When Jugo attacked him in a fit of rage, Sasuke took a direct punch that sent him flying into a wall. Everyone thought Sasuke was done, but then, in a split second, something monstrous spread across his back. The cursed wings appeared. In his partial form, large webbed wings sprouted from his back. One of his eyes turned black with a yellow iris, and the cursed markings crept over his cheek and shoulder. This form looked less grotesque than the full transformation, but it revealed something more terrifying. Total control. Unlike the Berserk state in Level 2, here Sasuke could think, strategize, and attack with precision. Later, in his intense battle against Itachi, Sasuke once again tapped into this partial form. As Itachi moved in to take Sasuke's right eye, Sasuke fought back using the wings themselves. They attacked from behind, forcing Itachi to release his grip. Even though it was just a genjutsu battle between two brothers, that reaction said it all. Sasuke was no longer controlled by the curse mark, he had turned it into his own weapon. Mangekyo Sharingan. To evolve from the Sharingan to the Mangekyo Sharingan, one cannot train or hone it through normal means. It must be triggered by deep emotional trauma, often the pain of losing someone most dear. For Sasuke, that fateful moment came when he discovered the truth about Itachi after his brother's death. His entire worldview collapsed. Rage, shock, grief, and anguish exploded within him, triggering a terrifying transformation in his eyes, the awakening of the Mangekyo Sharingan. At that moment, Sasuke's pupils turned black again, and the tomoe of his Sharingan shifted into 6 deep crimson elliptical petals, an extremely rare and powerful design. With these eyes, all of his regular Sharingan abilities, copying, movement, prediction, and genjutsu were pushed to their maximum potential. But what truly sets the Mangekyo apart are the unique abilities in each eye. In his left eye, Sasuke awakened Amaterasu, the same devastating technique that Itachi once wielded. A black flame that never extinguishes until it burns its target to ashes. It is pure destruction, like a curse that burns for 7 days and nights. However, unlike Itachi, Sasuke's right eye granted him control over these flames. He could mold Amaterasu into sharp arrows, protective shields, or blazing traps, allowing him to attack and defend simultaneously. This made his version of Amaterasu far more dangerous and versatile. But every power comes at a price. Each use of Amaterasu caused Sasuke's eyes to bleed, brought excruciating pain, and gradually deteriorated his vision. And then, Sasuke awakened the ultimate ability of the Mangekyo, Susanoo, a colossal warrior formed entirely of chakra, enveloping Sasuke like a god of war. Susanoo could block nearly any attack and launch arrows powerful enough to destroy entire armies. However, it consumed enormous chakra and inflicted immense pain. The stronger Susanoo became, the more it drained Sasuke's body. That's why after battles with Killer Bee, the assault on the 5 Kage summit, and especially his showdown with Danzo, Sasuke was nearly blind. Those eyes, as powerful as they were, had reached their limit. Even so, unlocking the Mangekyo Sharingan marked a tremendous leap forward. Sasuke now wielded a deadly arsenal of powerful and visually striking jutsu. But more importantly, he began gaining real combat experience by facing some of the world's most dangerous enemies. Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan. The Mangekyo Sharingan is powerful, but not sustainable. Each time it's used, the user's vision deteriorates, inching closer to total blindness. Sasuke knew this fate was inevitable, just like it happened to Itachi, but there was one forbidden path left, the Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan. To awaken it, one must transplant the Mangekyo Sharingan of a close blood relative, and Itachi had already planned everything. After Itachi's death, Sasuke received his brother's eyes not just for power, but as a final gift from a brother who carried all the darkness for him. When Sasuke awoke, his eyes were reborn, eternal, clear, and brimming with new abilities. The Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan gave him perfect vision, no more bleeding, no more pain, and no more limits. It enhanced every Mangekyo ability. Amaterasu became sharper, his control over black flames more precise, and Susanoo reached its fully armored, near-invincible form. This perfect version of Susanoo wielded a chakra bow, could fly, and even rivaled the strength of the tailed beasts. At this stage, Sasuke was no longer just a survivor of the Uchiha clan, he became its living legacy. But what made this transformation so tragic was that it came not from ambition, but from pain. The eternal Mangekyo was not just a power-up, it was a scar. A reminder that every evolution of the Uchiha eyes requires sacrifice. Rinnegan. As the ultimate pinnacle among the three great dojutsu of the Naruto world, the Rinnegan cannot be awakened through personal effort or simple bloodline inheritance like the Sharingan or the Byakugan. It requires an almost impossible condition. The wielder must possess the chakra of Indra Otsutsuki and, at the same time, combine it with the cells of Asura Otsutsuki, two opposing forces that have clashed across generations since the era of the Sage of Six Paths. Only when these two ancient energies converge within a single individual can the Rinnegan be awakened. In history, this condition has been so rare that it has almost only occurred through extraordinary events or direct intervention from Hagoromo Otsutsuki himself. But even when the condition is fulfilled, the path to the Rinnegan remains filled with trials. And in the most chaotic era of the shinobi world, the Fourth Shinobi World War fate chose Sasuke. When he was critically wounded by Madara Uchiha with a chest-piercing attack and left on the brink of death, Sasuke was saved by Kabuto Yakushi, who transplanted Hashirama Senju's cells into him, combining medical ninjutsu with healing through vital energy. However, the true turning point came when Sasuke's spirit encountered Hagoromo Otsutsuki, the Sage of Six Paths, in a spiritual dimension. Hagoromo bestowed upon Sasuke a portion of his own chakra, the very power he once used to create the moon and seal the Ten Tails. Through this inheritance, Sasuke not only returned to life but also awakened a form of power never before seen in modern history, the tomoe Rinnegan. When he awoke, Sasuke's left eye had transformed not into an ordinary Rinnegan, but a hybrid of the Sharingan and the Rinnegan, with 6 black tomoe revolving around a purple sclera. This was a special form of the Rinnegan that allowed Sasuke to wield abilities beyond those of the traditional Rinnegan. One of these was a Menotejikara, the ability to instantaneously swap places with objects, enemies, or even chakra-linked targets over great distances, rendering enemy tactics useless. With this technique, a single moment of an opponent's distraction was enough for Sasuke to appear directly behind them and deliver a finishing blow. The Rinnegan also allowed Sasuke to open black space-time portals, enabling instantaneous travel between different dimensions, a feat very few shinobi have ever achieved. This eye also allowed him to perceive things ordinary people could not, such as limbo invisible clones existing in a parallel dimension of Madara Uchiha. Not only could Sasuke see them, but he could also counter these entities. Sasuke could perform Chibaku Tensei without complex hand seals, using only a single hand motion. With it, he could create massive celestial bodies with immense gravitational pull, imprisoning even-tailed beasts while simultaneously absorbing their chakra to reinforce his Susanoo. The peak of this power was Indra's arrow, his ultimate attack, rivaling Naruto's 6 Paths Ultra Big Ball Rasen Shuriken, capable of devastating an entire battlefield. During the Infinite Tsukuyomi, which cast all of humanity into an eternal dream, only Sasuke remained standing. Using the Rinnegan, he discerned the nature of this genjutsu and immediately activated his complete body Susanoo, forming an absolute shield to protect Naruto, Sakura, and Kakashi from the illusion's effects. However, by the Boruto era, Sasuke was no longer at his peak. Though his experience and intellect remained, his chakra reserves had significantly diminished, making it difficult to maintain his power. In the battle against Ishiki Otsutsuki, and later when Momoshiki took over Boruto's body, Sasuke was struck in the left eye by Boruto, permanently losing his Rinnegan. The eye that was once the symbol of absolute power now existed only in memory. Even so, Sasuke's name remained spoken as the last warrior of the Six Paths lineage, a man who had witnessed the very limits of the shinobi world and once wielded one of the most legendary powers in history.